This theater, centrally located, heart of the theater district. So, you know, great for plays.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There it is.
What was this used for?
Plays.
The idea was to sort of take dream logic and that visceral sort of interaction that people have with their dreams and apply it to the external world in this movie, so that Caden Cotard, Phil Hoffman's character, is going through a dream reality, even though it's not a dream.
My impression. It's the same thing I always felt when I first read Being John Malkovich. I remember calling and saying, "Who is Charlie Kaufman? What the fuck's wrong with him?" You know, that's basically, it's like, oh my God.
He's a very visual director, and details are, for me, how I can tell. Details are really essential. It can be as global as the big giant wide shot of the whole world.
It's like reading the script and then working on it. You really saw that he really gets inside what it is to just live life, you know, in a way that's incredibly smart, imaginative, and beautiful, really beautiful.
It's an incredibly complicated movie. Characters age over 50 years. There's hundreds of visual effect shots. There's 60+ locations, 80+ speaking parts, 200+ scenes. There's animals, there's babies. There's everything that you say not to put into a film because it complicates things. Every scene has 3 or 4 of those.
And the scenes are so much fun because they're just so imaginative and eccentric.
Life moves to the south. There is only the now, and I am always with you. For example, look to your left.
Hi. When you canceled, it freed me up, so I'm traveling too. Yippee.
Phil and I are really tight, became very tight on Capote, and I think, you know, these 2 parts for him, again, this is a part that's just probably going to kill him. This will finish him off. Capote started, this is going to end.
When he's playing a 90-year-old man, and we're changing shots and we have half an hour down due to lighting, and he walks over to the craft service table to get himself some M&Ms, he shuffles over. It takes him 40 minutes to shuffle over and come back because he doesn't leave the body of a 90-year-old man. So we're all a little concerned for him.
That's not what he said.
Is it the bump to your head?
He doesn't know, maybe. He said he doesn't think so, but maybe. But he doesn't know. But maybe, who knows?
Okay, Jesus, Caden, I got it.
For Catherine and Phil, we spent a lot of time trying to sort of establish a history for this couple because they were in a long-term relationship and this was at the end of it, but I wanted it to feel like there was substance to it, and so there's a lot of improvisation.
Did we use a lot of it?
We didn't use a lot of it, but we used some of it. But it's used anyway. You know, it feels like I feel it between them.
I don't know why I make it so complicated.
That's what you do.
It was really good, and it was a really great way to start the movie because it really established sort of this base for everything that happens to Caden afterwards, and the fact that Catherine was there for like the first 2 weeks and then gone. The loss of her, which is what happens in the movie, felt real.
Yeah, I have to go find my daughter.
Your daughter's right here.
My real daughter.
Excuse me?
No, my first daughter, Olive, I have to go find her.
He keeps missing the person he's not with, so he can never really be in a relationship that he's actually in, you know, and it's all about creating this great piece of art.
As you're telling him this, you realize that you're attracted to him also. And how are you going to let him know that? And the guilt you feel about telling him about somebody else, knowing that. Daddy can't play now, honey.
Daddy doesn't live with us anymore, baby. He had to go find himself.
It's such a complicated world within a world within a world that this story is about. It took it took a while to figure out how we would depict it.
We have warehouses within warehouses, which are inside of other warehouses, and the idea of how do you differentiate all of those warehouses and keep each world separate, but yet feel all connected.
What we're really doing is shooting a lot of the world of New York and adding digitally with Mark Russell this sense of the warehouse over it.
Charlie's original vision of this movie was that everything should feel absolutely real. He didn't want any moments that felt digitally enhanced or felt CG. You really, I think this movie is so important that you walk into it and you see the world evolve and the world grow, and the world has to be real. We're not highlighting visual effects moments. We're not, panning over and revealing the giant warehouse. It's there, it's in the background. You just notice it as part of the environment. The movie should start with the characters and finish with the characters. And here, visual effects just enhance the environment.
The breaking down part, the part where many of us have broken down, is after he builds the warehouse inside of the warehouse. And which also means that while there are characters playing other real characters in the story, once we're in the warehouse, there are other characters playing those characters, playing real life characters, and so on, to the point where very few of us can ever figure out which warehouse we're in, what are the rules of that warehouse. In the year 2031, there's scaffolding on buildings because we're still being built, but in the year 2046, which we're shooting today, there's no more scaffolding and the streets have been unclad of their plywood.
It can get really confusing because in the script it says things like, Sammy enters the warehouse inside the warehouse, or it'll say interior warehouse, exterior street set. Is that the street set inside the first warehouse or the street set inside the second warehouse?
We've discussed it a million times. We have charts and graphs and stuff. We all go running to Mary Sobalski, the script supervisor, even Charlie to some degree, and I think there's some security for all of us knowing that at least somebody's sort of willing to say this is the way it is.
So I made this chart, which I think is one of my favorite charts ever, which is what scenes are inside what warehouse, and I can show it to you. This is like the real warehouse, and there's scene numbers about the scenes that take place in the real warehouse. And then this is the exterior warehouse set that they build inside the warehouse, and there are all the scenes that take place on the street set that's inside the warehouse set, but outside the warehouse set number 2. If you follow the characters going inside warehouse number 1 to inside warehouse number 2, you'll see that, for instance, the newsstand in the warehouse number 1 is finished, but they're just starting to paint the newsstand in warehouse number 2. So there are all these different layers of stuff going on that is really confusing, but this really helps.
A lot of the work we're doing in their residences, in the places that we find them, are character driven. They come out of their characters. Caden and Adele's house, it's not a comfortable place. There's an anxiety and an uncomfortableness and a sense of neglect. We chose odd greens and mixed them with odd oranges, which is a very unsettling color combination, even though it's kind of appealing to look at on film and interesting. We never sort of finished putting anything away in their apartment, and it's always a mess and a clutter.
Hazel's house is very important in this film. It's another huge element, and Hazel being such an important character in the film, and her house, which starts at the beginning of the movie as just a smoldering house, still on fire, but just smoldering, and then by the end of the movie it's completely burnt down.
I like it, I do. I'm just really concerned about dying in the fire.
It's a big decision how one prefers to die.
For me, the idea was trying to figure out a way that would make this not only look realistic, but safe for the actors, and try not to make too much of visual effects, because I think a lot of that interactivity helps. It helps the actors, it helps the crew, it helps the story, it helps the realism. So a lot of it we've had to figure out alternate ways to add fire in certain areas and shoot things from wide establishing shots and then add fire and smoke later.
We saved color for Berlin. Berlin, we kind of made this art mecca. Berlin is essentially Williamsburg for us, and we did very bold street graphic type graffiti. In fact, we got into a graffiti war with the real graffiti artists in Williamsburg, who at night would come and paint over our set, that we'd have to go back and paint it back to being German graffiti. We've done a lot of graphic work, the small details on a book cover for Madeline's office, or just what art she might have, or what's on her coffee table. Caden's medical equipment, all that it is that he lugs around with him. The inside of the closet that he ends up in the movie is as important a set as the overall warehouse set. It's a 6 by 12 foot space. It's as important as our 60,000 foot warehouse. I think the choice of a location is a lot like casting. There are criteria, but a lot of it is intuitive. It needed to be a place that was sort of off the path. It needed to be a place that just felt iconically a New York street. We have a warehouse, we have a garage, we have a loft building, we have cobblestones with a trolley track going through the middle of them. In the far distance, which is 3 blocks down from here, is the Brooklyn Bridge. To one side is a power station, to another side is the BQE. And it's also seemingly a street where nobody comes. We've had about 2 or 3 sort of people trying to get by.
Where is everybody?
Mostly dead.
It's a very beautiful, it's picturesque, this place, but it's also, while it's sort of beautiful on the one hand, it's kind of crumbling on the other, and I think that might be a good way to describe the world Charlie's looking for.
For me, it's sort of a big day because we have motion control here, and motion control is a computer-controlled camera. It's a big scene where we're combining Caden's character entering into the warehouse. So what we're doing is we're shooting it in 2 pieces. We shot the first part of that at the Bedford Armory about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and what we did is we took that data into the computer. We actually took the film into the computer, tracked it in 3D, and then applied that computer information to the machine here that's going to recreate the same camera move with a different background. So we had a green screen on that set for part of it, and where that green screen is, we're now going to replace with the real background here. So we'll get 2 locations blended seamlessly into one, which would be very nice.
The script covers a very huge period of time. It covers 50 years. Philip Seymour Hoffman has to age, and so do various characters in the film. So initially, that's the big challenge, to get him to look older through use of prosthetics.
With Philip, I mean, in the script, he's a little depressed and sad and things like that, but he always has these relations with women, so he's got to look somewhat attractive. So I chose to make the makeup, you know, a little bit attractive, but at the same time, add a little bit of sadness to it by sculpting in some certain kind of lines and things like that.
I was talking to Mike Marino about how sad Phil looks in his old age makeup, and I felt that he had an instinct about this character and sculpted it.
Ellen?
Which is what we always do in makeup, is you consider the life of the person you're making up and how their life would have affected their appearance. And because he's a man that's been disappointed, but has a kindness about him at the same time. And I think that Mike thought about all that as he was creating this old age makeup, and I think that's one of the reasons it works so well.
Charlie was real specific on how he wanted the people to look. So what my suggestion was to bring in actual old people. We cast some extras, and me and Charlie and Naomi, we all looked at their faces and said that would be a really good look for Philip, and this would be a good look for Samantha, and this would be good for Jennifer. So we really got specific. For any makeup, I'll take a life cast, where basically I'll paint a rubber on your face and the actor sits with his eyes closed for about a half hour. Literally, I'm creating a mold of the actor's face, which I remove and pour plaster inside, and I get a positive version of their face in plaster, and then I'll start sculpting in clay on top of the actor's life cast and create 3-dimensionally what that character is going to look like.
So anyways, here's Philip Seymour Hoffman's life cast, and this is actually one of the cheeks we use on the Caden character.
That makeup is broken down into several pieces. Say, for instance, the chin and cheeks and neck, they're all cut into individual pieces, put on other molds. What you're basically creating is a makeup that is almost like a puzzle.
Molds are lightweight epoxy. This is the negative and positive of her cheeks. And I'm going to pour this into her molds. And half hour from now or so, we pop them and we get a finished cheek.
You know, that's always the challenge each day, is taking these soft pieces, which are medical silicone, and gluing them on precisely in the way they were designed to be glued on. Philip Seymour Hoffman's makeup consists of, when he's in his 40s, I think he's around that age now, so he's not really wearing too much. Then as he progresses into his 50s, he wears old age stipple, which is like a latex, so we put on and stretch the skin. And we make his eyelids a little wrinklier and his lower bags, his forehead get wrinkled, and using some paint here and there to, you know, add some color, some aging. As he progresses into his 60s, mid-60s, he wears cheeks and a neck and a chin appliance just to kind of bring his face down and have it sag a little bit more as he reaches his 70s and 80s and 90s. Wig changes are the extent of the difference between 65 and 90. And the last stage, Philip wears full hand appliances or wrinkly hands and eyelid pieces, earlobes, a forehead piece, and cheeks, chin, neck. So he's pretty much covered at the end of the film, and once he's in his 90s with prosthetics. It's quite a chore, and it's a long makeup, but we've got it down pretty fast. Samantha Morton's great in the makeup. She loves makeup, so it's pretty fun for her. And when she looks in the mirror, she was really excited and really, I guess, saw the character come through in the makeup.
For Sam, it was really great to have that make. She loves that makeup, and she uses it and works it, and it's expanded her a little bit in a different way, and she really likes it. This film covers everything I've ever had to know about makeup. Skin diseases, pustules, everything, lumps, beauty makeup. We have a full body floral tattoo on the woman that plays his daughter. So we brought in a tattoo artist to design it. It took 4 artists 12 hours to paint it onto the body. And then later on in the movie, the character who's wearing the tattoo is dying. And as she's dying, the flowers of the tattoo are dying on her, withering on her body and dropping off. And it's just the most incredible image to fulfill, but incredibly beautiful. It worked out and quite moving in the end.
There's issues of time passage and very specific issues many people won't see the first time, in that sense of a dreamlike reality.
Happy Halloween, Synecdoche.
Time moving in an irrational way.
She's almost over 11 now.
This idea of scrambling time the way he does, that actually leads to a story that is more resonant.
No, that's not true, is it?
Why would I say it if it weren't true?
You know, when you're a kid, time moves so slowly because you're always thinking when is summer coming or when's Christmas. But as an adult, it goes so incredibly fast. The film deals with that in such an imaginative, frightening way.
That it's not about the way the plot adds up, but it's about the way the feelings add up.
As you learn, there is no one watching you, and there never was.
That supersedes all the logic and all of the chronology issues in the warehouse within a warehouse in every sense of the movie, where one thing happens after the next thing because of an emotional connection.
Did you cry?
No.
Making progress.
These things that seem so impossible, but are put forth matter-of-factly as completely plausible, I think is really very special.
No, just walk like yourself.
Watch this.
We're all supposed to be, you know, kind of in the present anyway, so that's all it is. It doesn't matter if it's the present and the future. I mean, it's still like right now, you know, so I don't know.
Everything okay, Eric?
And I think that the movie is dense enough and complicated enough that if you're interested in seeing it twice, you need to see it twice to start picking up on the little details.
The way he thinks, the way he's looking at our craft and the world is unlike anyone else, and it's humbling.